Welcome, family. Today is February 8th, 2025, and my name is Christine Dragosalovich. I hope you all had a fantastic and wonderful week. And the topic this week is called Unshakable, holding on to God's promises. Life often feels like storm waves of uncertainty that crash against us. Winds of doubt threaten to knock us down, and the ground beneath us seems to shift. In moments like these, we need something firm, something reliable, something unshakable to hold on to. The one thing that never fails is the promises of God. We will explore how we can anchor our lives in God's promises, how to stand firm in faith, even when challenges arise, and how God's faithfulness gives us strength to remain unshakable. As we dive deeper into His Word, our lives are firmly rooted in His promises of unchanging, faithful God that we serve. And I will tell you that sometimes we deal with many challenges and adversities, and that includes our family members. And I remember years ago, Mike Murdoch had said this: God gave you family. Oh, this is so true. So that you can deal with your enemies. Oh my goodness, is that just not the truth at times, right? And I put a smile on my face only because of some of the circumstances and situations that arise. And I'm sure they do in all of our families. And I'm like, boy, am I ready to face the world after dealing with some of the family members, right? So we're all equipped, and He equips us in different ways. The unshakable character of God, His promises are rooted in His unchanging character. Let us look at Numbers 23:19. God is not human that He should lie, not a human being that He should change His mind. God's attributes makes His promises unshakable: His faithfulness, sovereignty, and love, just to name a few. Trusting God because His promises are as sure as His character. And I will tell you, I'm going to give you a praise report this week. I had gotten a promotion at work, and I'm very grateful and very much appreciative for. And sometimes we feel like we've waited such a long time. And sometimes we do wait a long time because it's not the right time. And God will open that door in due time because His promises are ever ending. So God's promises are a firm foundation. Look at Matthew 7:24 through 25. The wise man builds his house on the rock. God's promises act as spiritual foundation for life's storms. God's purpose for storms is that our human motivations, attributes, and ways of thinking are exposed and then conformed to His ways, because His ways are not our ways. Yet when we put our life in His hands, and that is surrender, that word surrender, that I struggle with as well, believe me, I will give you an example of that I experienced last night in further down the line here. Our good God will use the storms of life to mold our character and refine our nature. God's purpose is that we overcome all the things that hinder our living the abundant life He created us to live. All His beautiful promises and blessings that are so noted in the Bible all over the place, that we so just read and just read and move on, but they are so profound because they're so true. The battle to hold on. Holding on to God's promises isn't always easy. Each of us has experienced moments when we felt disconnected from our purpose, wondering if we're truly walking in God's will. And I will tell you, last night, this profound, intense energy just came over me. It was so heavy that my mind was spinning all over the place with questioning myself, wondering what is this all about, all of these things going on and all the craziness. Sometimes we are put in a place where we have to do a really deep dive of ourselves. That is not an easy thing to do. That's very energy draining, by the way, I will tell you, because our minds are going, and our minds are going this way, that way, which way, every which way but loose. I mean, I got to the point where I just wanted to crawl out of my own skin. Have you ever been that way before? I'm sure you've experienced that feeling. And I got to the point where I was so exhausted from all of it. It was so intense. And I was in bed by 8 o'clock. Woohoo, party girl on a Friday night. I'm telling you, I was in bed by 8 o'clock and I'm going, oh my gosh, this is just, but I had to. And when I got up this morning, I was a bit better, but I also had to get into prayer and ground. And however you ground, whatever works for you, you need to do that during that time. We have to feel those feelings because they're real and they're there, but they're also a reflection to look within ourselves. There's something that needs to be addressed. And that something for me was to surrender to the beautiful plan God has, not only for me, but for all of you, for all of us, because we're all in this together. Never give up. I was really struggling yesterday. I was like, God, I don't understand all of this. This is just way too heavy for me. But you can't see or experience the light until you go through the dark. And that is so true. I am in such a better place today, and I am so grateful for that. But that's because I chose to move forward on a positive note and know that I'm being guided accordingly. And we're all being guided accordingly. Never give up. It feels that way. But when it feels that way, do something that will allow you to find peace, whether it be walking in nature, however it is, meditation, prayer, whatever will work. Even Epsom salt baths. I've been doing those lately myself. So some of the challenges are self-doubt, questioning ourselves, the delays that are there, wishing it were yesterday, disappointments. They feel like they're endless sometimes, right? I know for myself, I ask that question. Did I cause this? And sometimes we need to just get out of our own way and let God take you through that. Because I've mentioned in past videos, we need to also purge. Some of these feelings are coming up to surface, to be released. Because if we don't release that negative energy, we can't make room for that positive energy to come in and light us up. So, and I'm also hard on myself. I don't know about the rest of you, but I can be hard on myself, and I need to not be hard on myself and be more like go with the flow, And I'm learning the hard way, but I'm learning. God's promises fulfilled in Scripture. There are endless examples of God's fulfilled promises. Abraham and Isaac, God fulfilled his promise of a son. Israel's deliverance, God kept his promise to free his people. And Jesus Christ, the ultimate promise fulfilled for our salvation. How many promises has God fulfilled in your life? That's a question we need to ask ourselves every day. And there's so many. So we're going to talk about, we go through the hard times, and his hand has always taken us through to a newer tomorrow. And that surely feels that way for me today. Living an unshakable faith is courage. Biblical courage isn't about the absence of fear. It's about acting in faith even through fear. True courage stems from a deep trust in God's power and promises, holding on to hope and finding resilience in adversity. Faith offers a steady anchor of hope that strengthens individuals during times of adversity. When faced with challenges, those with unwavering faith cling to the belief that every trial has a purpose, and it most certainly does, and that they are not alone in their struggles. That's why we are all here for each other. We are all here to help each other go through it. And that's why I share my examples, because all of us go through it and they may be different, but yet they feel the same. And we're all here for each other. This hope equips us with a resilience, enabling us to navigate stormy waters with courage and determination. Choosing to see the good in people and situations, sometimes that's very difficult, especially if they're not very nice. But you know what? We have to find the love in our heart for them as well. Individuals with faith possess a unique ability to see the inherent goodness in people and situations, even in the face of challenges. That is not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult, and it does take time, but that does happen in time. Unlike human promises, which can be broken due to various reasons, God's promises are unbreakable. They are rooted in his character and in his unchanging nature. The Bible assures us that God is faithful and righteous, and his promises are a reflection of his perfect character. Regardless of the circumstances we face, we can be confident that God's promises will never fail. He is not a man who lies or changes his mind. His promises remain steadfast throughout all generations. The reward of trusting God's promises. When we hold on to God's promises, we experience his unwavering love for us, his protection, his peace, to prosper us and not to harm us, to comfort us, his blessings. It is endless. So as we close, life is full of uncertainties. Storms will come, trials will test us, and we may even face seasons where it feels like hope is lost. But in all those moments, we can remain steadfast because we serve a God who never fails. Remember that you are standing on the solid rock of God's never failing promises. And I'm going to close with prayer. Father, thank you for your unshakable promises. May we find strength, hope, and peace in you alone. You are ever so grateful. You are the God who always keeps his promises. And may God's promises shower all over your life. And may you find that peace and love that we all have. And with that, I hope you all have a beautiful week. And until next week, bye for now.